Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a video on tips, a little bit of do's and don'ts. I am going to zoom you in closer so you guys could see all the details and everything that I'm talking about. There is some things that I won't be putting on, but this will be mostly focused on the eyes, so that's why I want to zoom you in. Judge my skin kindly. But there is a giveaway in this video. Stay tuned for that. All the rules and all that good stuff will be down in the description, but I will also let you know a little bit of information throughout the video. I do just want to say I am not an expert by any means. I've just been doing makeup because I love it for like over 6 or 7 years now. So I just want to help you guys if you guys are just starting, or maybe you guys just need help with little things here or there. If I don't talk about something specific, let me know in the comments below that you want to know. Maybe I could include it in a video, or maybe I could just reply down there for you. But yeah, let's get started. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in. That way you guys could get a better look at what I'm doing. Okay guys, so you guys are a lot closer. So basically, we're going to go in with primer. Now, primer is really important whether it's for all over the face or we're just talking about the eyelids. I haven't tried a bunch of primers, but I have tried a handful of them. And I will say that I love this Kat Von D Prime and Correct one. You guys already know that. But another good one is the NARS Pro Prime. Any eyeshadow base will get you moving towards a good, flat, even eyeshadow look. I have texture even on my eyelids, on this eye, so a primer definitely helps. Also, if you have oily eyelids, priming and setting is gonna be your best friend. So I'm gonna go in with the Kat Von D Prime and Correct on this side. This will be the do side, this will be the don't side, and really I just want to say it's makeup. Go in with makeup however it is that you like and whatever works for you. This is how I do makeup. I'm not a professional. This is how I like the way that it looks on me more. Before we continue though, I do just want to let you know I will be using the Morphe 350M, and it looks like this. I love this palette for like if you're just starting out, for transitions. I feel like it's a good staple to have. I will link it down below where you guys can find it. It is available on Morphe.com and Ulta though, just in case I forget. That being said, I do want to do a giveaway. So you guys can come back to this video and help yourselves out. This is the Morphe, sorry, I already took it out of the box. Morphe 15D Day Slayer. I love this palette. It is also one of those palettes that has neutral colors, and it's really good for people that are starting out, or just to add to your collection really. So in order to enter to win this beautiful palette, just see the description down below, and I will tell you down below exactly what you have to do to enter. So now going in with that primer, we're going to put it on this side, not on this side. This is our do side. So you just want to lay down that primer, whether it be with the brush or your finger. And you just want to make sure that you're laying it down nice and even. You don't need a ton. This isn't like lotion or something like that. I would suggest highly to always set your primer, your eyelids, the primer on the eyelids that you just lay down. Set it. There's many setting powders out there. This one's very inexpensive. I want to say it's under $8, but I honestly think it might be even under $6. I just got it so long ago that I don't remember. But it is a translucent powder. Any translucent powder will do. So once you lay this down like this, it just helps set it. It's going to help you blend a lot easier, and if you have oily eyelids, it's going to help control that oiliness. Now, I did have to refilm this, so some of the brushes are used, but that's okay. So I would suggest for somebody that's just starting out, going in with a smaller blending brush. I think this is the #1 brush you need to know about because you need to blend. So I would suggest going in with a smaller blending brush, and not just going in with the blending brush, but putting in a transition color. It's very important because it'll help you get that like faded gradient look. So you want to go in with a transition color. We're just going to go in here and then dab a little bit into that whiter color, and you always want to tap off the excess, because if you go right in, you're going to get a bunch of fallout and it's going to be a horrible mess. So you want to start here in your crease, and you're going to do circular motions and drag. I will try to slow it down. It's a habit. I just start going. So you just want to always make sure you're tapping off excess off your brush. Once you do, come in here and circular motions and drag. And I do have a lot of eyelid space, so personally I do go in with a bigger brush, which I will show you in just a second. But for the people that are trying to learn here and have normal size eyes, I'm just kidding, it's not, you know what I mean, less eyelid space, having a smaller brush is definitely going to help you. So as you're blending, you always want to make sure that you have a brush that has nothing on it, a fluffy brush. It's going to help your blending, in my opinion, go a little faster, but also make sure it's like really blended. So you're just going to go in here, and now I would suggest, if you're not exactly sure about transitions, go in with a couple of transition colors. It's going to be fine. So let's say that you went right in with a fluffier brush. This one's just a little bit more fluffy. And say you didn't go in with a transition color. Say that you just went in with a color you wanted. You didn't tap off the excess, let's say. And if you went in and didn't do those circular motions, you're going to get more of a line. And you're going to get plenty of fallout. So you want to make sure, now you want to make sure you have that brush that has nothing on it, because if you picked up too much product, #1, you're going to get more of a line than more of a gradient. And then when you go up to blend, you're going to just be making that line, you're just going to keep making that line go up instead of blending with a nice fade. Okay, so say that you went in, now you have all this fallout and everything, and instead of a nice blended out look, which by the way, I like to go down here and blend up just because I like to go with the shape of my eye. My eyes are already big, so I don't need to wing it out to elongate my eyes or anything like that. But I do go in with a makeup towel, and I will show you at the end, and kind of clean that up. So it is a little bit further down the way I do it, but that's because I just always go in there and clean it up. But you don't need to. You can just set it exactly where you want it, and or wing it out if you want to, and that'll be that. But I was saying, always make sure you have an extra brush for blending, because if not, you're just going to be taking that color too far up, and it's just going to look really intense instead of looking blended out. Now, another good starter brush, in my opinion, is this Real Techniques blending brush. I love this brush. So, moving on. I like to mix color, guys, sorry. To this shade and this shade right here. I suggest putting this right like where your transition color starts. This is going to help with the full look. Again, you're gradiating. It doesn't necessarily have to be dark brown, lighter brown, lighter brown. You can have different colors and still have that gradient look. So you place it here, you start doing your circular motions, and you start dragging up. Don't forget, tap off that excess. And all these steps are just to basically help you get a nice blended out look. And it's just the way I do it, but it's makeup. Have fun. Going in with my brush that has nothing and helping that color blend up. And we are doing more of a natural look, mostly just to show you how to get the blend right. So I would say once you have your transition or two colors that are going to help you make that gradient, go in. If you want to go in and darken the look, we're just going to take another smaller brush. It is tiny. It's going to take you a little bit more time, but it will help you control where you're trying to place that eyeshadow. So you want to kind of stamp it on there, and then you start moving it up. Because if you don't, you're going to go in too harshly, and you're not going to get that blended out look. Going in with our brush that has nothing, we're just going in here, helping that darker color blend. So let's say that you went in there with the dark shade, and let's say that, again, you're not doing the little windshield wiper with a little bit of a roll in there. It's going to be on there dark. If you're going in there with the big brush, it might go up too high. If you go in here and just start, you might think, oh, I'm getting such a blended look. Not really. You can see that patchiness, and then you can also see how the color is darker in some spots, lighter in some spots. You want to make sure that you're stamping and then working your brush to blend. It's very important, because if not, you're going to go in there even with a brush that has nothing, and it's not really going to blend. I don't know if you could see that. It's not really blending. So always go in, tap, bring it here, and start moving it up. Okay, so then let's say you want to go in with a shimmery shadow. So with the shimmery shadow, I'm going to go in with this one from the Blood Sugar palette. You want to take a flat brush, and that's just going to help you pick up your shadow. Now when you pick up your shadow, you really want to like swipe. You don't want to go in with the tip. You're not going to need the tip. You need the full side going in, because that's how you're going to apply it onto your eye. Load up your brush. Again, you're just going in with a little bit of a swiping motion. You're still going to tap off that excess, and then you're going to start applying it wherever it is that you'd like. You don't want to get it into the crease so much. At least I don't really like to use super shimmery shadows on my crease. I feel like it takes away from that blended out look. Now, to intensify this, you could either go in with your finger, that sometimes helps, or you can also spray with your setting spray. I find that it works better with the setting spray instead of water, because it kind of helps stick a little bit better with the glycerin. So you just give it a little bit of a spray, and then you're going to come back in, and you could see the difference from spritzing that eyeshadow, just like so. And the reason that you want to go with a flat brush is because you get more of that pigment and that shine. Let's say you went into that, you're also not going to be able to control it, and if you don't tap off, all that glitter is just going to like disperse all over your eye. So you don't really even get that great of a payoff when you go in with a fluffy brush. That is why you want to use a flat brush. And then when you are putting it on, you're more like tapping it on and trying to blend by tapping, dragging. It's not going to be the same as your transitions shades or your crease colors, basically. So it is a different way to lay it on the eye instead of blending it into that crease. So you can barely even see any shimmer there. I think you see it more on my cheekbone than you can on the eye. So that's going to give you more of that pigment. Also, keeping it under that crease, like I said, is going to help your blended look, because if that shimmer goes up too high and then the light hits it, it's just going to look like white, almost like a white reflection. Now, once you're done with your shadow, I always suggest you clean up. If you go in with foundation, you're going to get patches, you're going to get dark spots because of the different colors of the eyeshadow. So you always want to make sure that you go down on the bottom, clean it up, and this is where you can shape your eyeshadow however you want. I guess it is a little winged out, not too much though, and then once my foundation is on and everything, it doesn't look so harsh. But if you didn't go in with that cleansing wipe, you just have this elongating look, kind of dragging your eye down. Now that is another thing that I wanted to let you guys know. The way you do your brow bone highlight is going to help your eye open up and kind of like just look open, basically. So you can go in with any light shade that you like. You can go in with the highlight, you could do whatever, and I would just go in with a smaller detailer brush. Like this one is from Real Techniques. It's super tiny. You don't need it super tiny. You can go in with something a little bigger. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but to help you control where you're laying down that super light shadow, you want to tap off always, and you just want to put it here on the highest point. Make sure it's nice and blended, and boom, it kind of like accentuates that. You can always go back in with your brush that has nothing, blend that in a little bit, and you're good to go. And I think personally, matte brow bone highlights are always much more flattering, but a highlighted shimmer shadow, whatever it may be, is also very flattering. You just have to be really careful and make sure it's really blended. That way you just get that pop and not dragging your eyebrow down and your eye down. But let's say that you went in on the other side with a super big brush, you loaded it up too much, then you come in here and you're not only putting it on the bottom, but I've seen a lot of people come in here, they want to like highlight their whole brow bone, and then you have this, and it's just like making your eye look heavy. I know that in some light it might look nice. It's not. It's literally dragging my eye down. It's making my eye look heavy instead of more open and kind of more diffused in there. Now, for that bottom lash line, you're gonna always want to make sure that if you're putting any kind of eyeshadow down there, even if it's just one color, you're gonna want it to be nicely blended. You guys aren't focused? Yes. Okay. Now, I like to go from here. I normally lay down my under eye once I have my concealer on. I just think it's easier for me. But if you're scared of the fallout, do all your eyeshadow first, then go in with everything else. So you just want to bring it up to right here and then blend down. Now, if you feel like you're having a hard time with blending, put a little bit of that transition color, come back down here to your dark color, use a small detailer brush. I don't know if you can see, it's pretty thin. So this is the this is the width, this is how thick it is though. It's nice and thin. You could also go in with a pencil brush. You're going to put it on almost like eyeliner. You don't need to go all the way into the waterline, but just like right where the waterline is. And that's going to help you. You're going to dab into that dark. And you're going to press, wiggle, press, wiggle. So you're kind of just dabbing this on like that. And then, again, just me, I like to have a brush that has nothing on it. Sorry, it has a little something, like I said, I had to record this. But it has nothing. Ultimately, it's not painting anything on. And it's just going to blend better. And then going going back in and blending. Now, adding more of that transition color. We're just going to go back to that first brush, tapping and blending. Now, I hope you could tell because I do have a little bit of darker under eyes. I do have pigmentation under my eyes, but I hope you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. And then you just go back in, clean up if you need to. And once you have your foundation and everything, it's going to look a lot better, which is why I like to go in with my concealer, my foundation first, and then go back and finish that under eye. But let's say you went into that dark shade and you just went in with a big fluffy brush, no transition color. You already took that down too far. You need to make sure that the brushes you're using for the under eye are smaller. Now, like I said, if you have a brush that has nothing on it and you're blending, that's going to help you so much. But going in a little bit at a time is going to make that eye blend so much better. So now into the inner corner, we're going to go ahead and use that Super Shock shadow. Personally, I like to go in with a brush. Any detailer brush will do. You can go as small or as big as you'd like. I would suggest the smaller the better, so you can have control. And then you just go in, and you really want to keep this close to the inner corner. You don't want to bring it closer to your nose. And just like that. And that's just going to brighten, give it a little bit more dimension. But again, it's totally up to you how high you want to bring it up. You could blend that into the shadow. Now let's say you went in with a bigger brush. And if you try to go in here, it's just going to get too big real fast. You guys just saw that. I barely tapped it in like 3 times onto my eye, and it's just everywhere. And you can see, if I close my eyes, I'm just trying to make sure I stay in focus, how using the different brushes helps. So again, reviewing everything we did, using smaller brushes to start your blending is going to help you control where you're blending the shadow. You don't want to tilt your brush too far down, too far up, because you're going to blend up too high, and then you're going to have too much pigment up too high instead of having that nice smooth fade up. Also, your brow bone, don't do it. I know it's tempting, but bringing it all the way from the tip to the tip, it's gonna drag down your eye. It's gonna make it look heavy. You're not gonna like it. So again, that is do's and don'ts, a little bit of tips. So I pulled it back just a tiny bit. Maybe you could see a little bit better what I mean here. But if you have any other questions, please let me know. I hope some of these tips were helpful. I know they're very basic tips, but I do think that they are also very common mistakes that people make. I just want to remind you, it's makeup, have fun. I just quickly wanted to say another little tip is to always make sure that you are kind of having your mirror up close, putting it far, trying to see how that pigmentation looks. Maybe you want it lighter, maybe you want it darker. Just make sure you're not just holding the mirror up close to your face, because a lot of times it looks a lot darker than it is, and sometimes it looks a lot lighter than it really is, depending on your lighting. So that's just another little tip. And that's it, guys. So before you go, don't forget to enter my giveaway. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and share this video with any of your friends and family, or any of my videos that they might enjoy. And I will see you guys next time. Adios.